The 2015 Subaru Forester. The most award-winning small SUV with better fuel economy than competing models. And the certainty down the road you expect from a Subaru. The 2015 Subaru Forester. It's a whole lot to love.
Come see what everybody loves at Cruise Subaru.
And maintain the love with complimentary maintenance included only at Cruise Subaru on Rivers.
In Mount Pleasant, we don't limit happiness to an hour. We let it stretch out wide. From sunrise tea times on world-class courses to afternoon walks through history and evenings at some of the country's best restaurants. All this in just 5 minutes to the beach and downtown Charleston. Set your watch to happy time, y'all, and come on over.
Welcome in everybody to the Carolina Cup Challenge. Tom Kolker, Glenn Crooks, and joining us in the broadcast booth tonight is Matt Peterson. He is the radio play-by-play voice of the Houston Dynamo. Matt, thanks for being here with us.
Yeah, great to be here. The weather is held out for now, and hopefully for our 90 minutes at least, it cooperates.
And this game was originally supposed to start at 5 o'clock, moved up to 4 o'clock because of the weather, but right now maybe a light sprinkle out on the field. A little chilly, but good conditions for soccer. We come into this game getting set for New York City Football Club against the Houston Dynamo. And Glenn, let's start with New York City. 1-1 draw earlier against Orlando City this week, and it was a game in which it was really a tale of two halves. We saw Kaká get the goal in the first half. New York City comes out with a different formation in the second half, and it leads to some success.
Yeah, and what we learned today in talking to Jason Kreis is that adjustment was pre-planned. Not only the change of shape, but also the two substitutions in the second half, where it was Facey coming into the back and Kyrie Shelton coming in up top, and it was an immediate impact in the game. One of the things that happened, well, there are really two things that happened in that 4-2-3-1 shape that they came out in with two players, two holders in front of the center backs. It really prevented Orlando to drive the ball into those areas quite as easily as they had in the first half. So that was number one. And then Shelton, he really, in some ways, took over the match, both on the defensive side and the attacking side, scoring the equalizer.
Houston, meanwhile, 3-2-1 on the preseason. Now, they played a tournament out the Desert Friendlies, where they took on some MLS teams, including San Jose, Portland, and Vancouver. Talk about this team a little bit, coming in off a 1-0 loss against Charleston earlier to start this tournament. But this is a team with a lot of experience and looking to maybe rebound after that first game in this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. A great start in Tucson, 3 goals against San Jose. And former head coach Dominic Kinnear, a good 1-1 draw against Portland, despite going down a man, and then a good result against Vancouver, a 1-0 win. Came home, played a very resolute Austin side. They got 9 or 10 behind the ball most of the afternoon. They snuck a late goal for a 1-0 upset, and the Dynamo came here, got in late, pretty late Friday night, about midnight, to the hotel. They had the early game Saturday, so not to make too many excuses, but wasn't the best circumstances, and Charleston came out and played well. So I think a team that's thirsty for goals, thirsty for a good result with 10 days to the season.
Now let's talk a little bit more about New York City here, Glenn, and they come into this game. We know we're going to see a lot of players. We're going to talk about the lineup here in a little bit, but one guy that will start up top tonight is Patrick Mullins, a kid we saw in the second half of last week's game, but a guy who has won 2 Mac Hermann trophies at Maryland and played in 21 games last year for New England, but a player that's interesting to watch because he does have some explosive ability.
And this is going to be a trivia question for you both, so and for our audience to ponder. There are only 3 collegiate players who have won back-to-back Hermann trophies. And my guess is no one's going to get it unless they look it up. But Mullins is a goal scorer, and he proved that on the collegiate level. And one of the things that is often discussed and now as MLS has continued to develop is, how quickly somebody can impact the league, coming from a collegiate program and how long it will take them to do that. And let's talk about our players to watch tonight. And for New York City, it is another forward. Kyrie Shelton, we saw him off the bench in the second half, had that goal. He's a big kid, second pick overall in the 2015 Super Draft from Oregon State. Pac-12 Player of the Year, and one of the things we weren't certain of is his strength in terms of how he could fight off defenders inside the area, and he certainly showed that ability in scoring the equalizer the other night. It was really, there were 3 parts to that. It was the timing of his run, and then the actual finish following the fact that he held off the defender. And Matt, let's talk about Will Bruin, a guy who's scored a lot of goals in his MLS career, back healthy now. Talk a little bit about his game.
Yeah, 35 goals his first 4 MLS seasons, most ever by a drafted player, tied with Clint Mathis. So he got his 10th last year against Kansas City, had a midfoot sprain, missed all but the final 2 games of the season. Looking for his first preseason goal tonight, but a mainstay for the Dynamo in his 4 seasons. Let's talk about the starting lineups for tonight's game. We'll start with New York City Football Club. Keir Fitzgerald gets the start in goal. The back 4, Connor Brandt, Shea Facey, Kwame Watson-Sirbo, and Jeb Brofsky. The midfield, Kwadwo Poku, Matt Dunn, Kyrie Shelton, Pablo Alvarez, Sebastian Velasquez, and up front, Patrick Mullins. So, Glenn, a little bit of a different shape today for New York City Football Club. It's really a 4-2-3-1 with Mullins at the top. Well, this is the way they played in the second half against Orlando, and as we spoke to Jason today, he's not concerned with systems, but he also understands that he's got a group of players that he's trying to figure out how they can play together. But as we also learned today, this is all part of the plan. 60 minutes for this group. It'll be 30 minutes for what will ultimately be a majority of the starters in the first game against Orlando on March 8th. Let's talk about the starting lineup for the Houston Dynamo. Tyler Derrick gets to start in goal. The defense, the back 4, Kofi Sarkodie, Raul Rodriguez, Jermaine Taylor, DeMarcus Beasley. The midfield, Boniek Garcia, Ricardo Clark, Luis Guerrero, Brad Davis. And up front is Alexander Lopez and Will Bruin. Garrido is a guy I know that this team is really excited about, Matt. Yeah, Garrido, a player that came over from Olympia, Honduras right after the World Cup last year, was just a mainstay. Some people compare him to a young Osvaldo Alonso, who's been one of the best for Seattle for years. And Garrido, maybe a younger Ricardo Clark as well, covers the ground that Ricardo Clark maybe did in his younger days. And another guy that I know the team is very excited about is Raul Rodriguez. He was a guy who played in La Liga with Espanyol and kind of brought in maybe to help shore up that back line for the Dynamo. Yeah, he's been outstanding. Great organizer, good pedigree with 5 years with Espanyol, and comes over and has really been a nice mentor for the Spanish-speaking players that are younger on the team, and he's fit right in next to Jermaine Taylor. That's where they'll start tonight. And Glenn, for New York City Football Club, another young player that's exciting, Shea Facey, who is part of the Manchester City group, playing in the EDS, the Elite Development Squad. He's a young kid, just 21 years old, but gets to start in the back line tonight. And I know he's a guy that Coach Christ and the rest of the staff are very excited about. Yeah, the EDS is the precursor to making the big club at Manchester City. And one thing he has shown is versatility. They've played him in the middle, and they've played him out wide, and tonight he'll start in the middle of the park. It's interesting to have these two teams going at it, and Matt, we talk about the Houston Dynamo. This is their 10th season as a franchise coming over from San Jose, and really this is sort of the model all the rest of MLS, especially new teams, whether they're a franchise or an expansion team. The success that the Dynamo have, it's pretty remarkable. You talk about the playoffs 7 of the 9 years, 4 MLS Cups, 4 MLS Cup appearances, 2 wins. Conference finals 6 times. It's a pretty remarkable run that they've been on. Yeah, it's similar to Jason Christ and what he did with Real Salt Lake. 7 straight playoff appearances for Christ before coming over to NYCFC. But a big foundation laid by Dominic Kinnear in his 9 seasons. He's gone back to San Jose, and now a new chapter with Owen Coyle, and it starts in 9 days. Talking about Coach Coyle, we had a chance to meet with him yesterday. What a great guy. Brought over from Europe, had a ton of success in Premier League, took Burnley to the EPL, had success with Bolton, and over a 20-year playing career. What's he been like so far He's been great. He's been great. Darryl Lovell had a nice profile of him today on the league website, talking about how he just loves to practice. Sandy Stewart, one of his lieutenants, said he'd practice in the snow because he loves it. He'd practice 7 days a week because he likes the training ground. So he's had a very infectious personality, definitely encourages the players, goes out of his way during training to be very vocal, positive or negative, but most of the time it's positive, and he's been very positive on the players so far.
And I know, Glenn, for New York City tonight, looking at this starting lineup, people may be wondering where are some of the names we saw from the other night, but for Coach Kreitz, it's a matter, I think, of getting a look at some of the maybe the younger guys, how the rotations are going to work, but also sort of keeping a rhythm as the season moves along and we get ready for that March 8th opener.
It's about protecting the bodies of some of the players that are going to be regulars. So as we move towards the opener on March 8th at Orlando, it's all part of the plan. So at the approximately the 60-minute mark here this afternoon in South Carolina, the regulars will come to play. David Villa, we should point out, is out for today's game, and David Villa, a bit of a groin pull, which he suffered in England and Manchester during one of those friendlies, and then he injured his toe the other night against Orlando. Neither injury is serious, and from what we've heard, if this was a regular game, he'd be on the go.
Just about set to go here. We are on Daniel Island. It is the Carolina Challenge Cup. Weather's holding out for now. It was a little messy yesterday for both teams in terms of practice, but all the teams were out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, Owen Coyle didn't look so happy being out on the training pitch yesterday. I'm sorry. It was cold and rainy, and he was very happy to go back to the hotel and speak.
You see the Dynamo will start out here, working right to left. These two teams will meet on May 30th in New York with one regular season appearance. And we talked about Will Bruin. He's up there up top for Houston's. We just are set to go. Tom Kolker, Glenn Cook, Matt Peterson with you here. Thanks for joining us on the live stream.
Yeah, Tom, one man missing, Giles Barnes, set a Dynamo field player record last year, most minutes. Been one of the most durable forwards in MLS the last few seasons, but has a little thigh issue, so he won't play tonight.
Ball is sent deep initially down the far sideline into New York City Football Club territory and just kicked out of bounds for a deep throw-in. Just underway. We talked about Bruin. Lopez getting the start up top tonight. He's more of a midfielder, but a guy who they're maybe trying to find a home for.
Yeah, so much depth at center mid with Ricardo Clark and Luis Garrido. Lopez brings a very good skill set, very technical, very good passer. So more of an advanced role, second striker, and maybe trying to find the gaps on the right and the left.
The ball played along the far sideline. Just 1 minute into the game. Cleared off the line that time by Watson Tourbeau. As both teams trying to win possession early on here. Well, headed back by Raul Rodriguez, 3 years in La Liga. And here comes NYFC on the break. Ball played across. Velasquez just outside the 18. Touched out wide. Brovsky taken down, and a late whistle. Looked like Houston was ready to counter and spring Davis. But it will be a free kick from about 25 yards out here as Sebastian Velasquez over the ball.
A good mobility there. You saw Mullins come into the midfield and Shelton get a little higher, and that's Kyrie Shelton. He started that break for New York City FC.
So here is Pablo Alvarez. Very good friends with David Villa, who played together from 2001 to 2003. We're in the second minute here. No score, first chance for New York City Football Club.
This is always a dangerous chance, whipping that thing in behind the defense in front of the keeper. Let's see what happens. You got Velasquez and the rest of them jockeying per position.
Low ball played in, not well struck, and cleared away by the Dynamo as they look to counter. Ball intended that time for Garrido, couldn't quite get to it. And here's Davis. Davis down the sideline. Six-time MLS All-Star. Of course, the appearances with the U.S. national team. As it poked off the ball, Velasquez with it. New York City played back. Brovsky. Velasquez, who got the start in the last game, in the top of the diamond, more of a midfield role here today. Third minute, no score. Watching the Carolina Challenge Cup, Tom Kolker, Glenn Crooks, Matt Peterson with you. Matt, the play-by-play voice of Dynamo on the radio, joining us for today's broadcast. Both teams looking for possession. Here's Garcia looking to turn, and I know, Matt, he's a guy who's had a lot of experience on the international level and a real key player for this Houston team.
Yeah, 5 caps away from 100 for Honduras, wore the captain's armband for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and they lost against Venezuela, but been a huge addition since coming over in 2012.
Here comes the New York City Football Club with some room. Ball played out wide. Velasquez tracks it down. Velasquez on the dribble. Leaves it out wide. Alvarez toward the end line. Here's Alvarez. Plays it into the box. And Derek there to make the play. Let's talk about this goalkeeping situation for Houston. Really a battle between Joe Willis and Tyler Derrick. Two very good keepers.
Very healthy competition. Both players about the same age. Very similar experience in MLS. And both probably think they should be the starter, which is exactly what you want with any team.
That time trying to spring Mullins, but nice job defensively that time by Rodriguez.
And New York City FC made it a bit easier for Derek on that service from Alvarez. There was no front post run, and that's sometimes the most critical run, getting to that front post and distracting the keeper. Even if you don't get a touch on it, you might get a second ball situation.
So free kick here for New York City FC. That time trying to find Mullins, but read nicely by the Dynamo defensive line. Here's Lopez. Lopez, good ball out wide. Garcia, far side of the field. Into New York City territory. Garcia plays it across the field. Davis trying to make a run. Can't quite get to it, but not a bad idea there. Trying to go diagonal and play that long ball for Brad Davis.
Yeah, good switching ball. Had a lot on it, and this cold weather ball is going to skip on this grass here in Charleston tonight.
I'd like to say that change of the point with that driven ball comes right out of the books of Owen Coyle's training sessions, because it was funny. We spoke to him yesterday, and I get this magazine, coaching magazine called Elite. It comes out of England, and Owen Coyle on the cover of this month's manual.
Beasley with the throw in there, trying to get into the middle of the field. Dynamo looking to control, one touch by Bruin. Nice back heel. Velasquez there to take away, and it'll go back to Brofsky, who will send it across the field. Here's a ball played by Shelton. Shelton got the goal in the second half against Orlando City in the 57th minute on a beautiful ball played by Villa. Matt Dunn looking to turn. Dunn taking off the ball. Dynamo control. Nice play by Garrido. And a whistle. As Garrido gets the call. Played just 11 games last year for the Dynamo, but you mentioned the international experience, 26 caps for Honduras. A really strong Honduras connection on this team.
Yeah, one of those three, Boniek Garcia, and the 3 Hondurans playing tonight for the second straight game. Lopez has usually been the odd man out, typically, but getting some run here in Charleston this week.
Good ball played into the box. Davis trying to track it down. They'll send him back to Beasley. Beasley, the top of the 18, and cleared out by NYFC Football Club.
Brofsky doing very well with that defensive header. He made sure that it was cleared wide, and then New York City FC controls.
That time you saw Poku trying to make a play on it. No one able to make a run for New York City. 7th minute here, no score. These two teams will play one more time on Saturday. It'll be Houston taking on Orlando, and New York City Football Club will play the host squad, Charleston. And a new affiliation this year for the Houston Dynamo with Charleston. Talk about that a little bit, Matt.
Yeah, an opportunity for the Dynamo to send a few players this season to Charleston. They used Pittsburgh last year, an opportunity to come here to Charleston this year. Some familiarity between the clubs. This is the 6th time the Dynamo have come to Charleston for this preseason tournament. So it's a deep squad. It's a competitive squad. We'll see who starts out the season here in Charleston probably the next couple weeks.
Here's Dunn. New York City Football Club plays it out wide. Brofsky. Nice touch in the middle of Alvarez. Alvarez poked off the ball, and Beasley controls will send it back to Derek. Well, two big names in U.S. soccer, of course, on this Houston team with Beasley and Davis. Two key guys in the starting lineup tonight, and Davis just solid in the middle. That nice left side with Beasley and Davis. And here's Beasley making a run. Great ball down the sideline to Bruin. Bruin, edge of the 18. One cut, gets by one defender, and that time defensively New York City FC comes up with a nice play, but what a run by Beasley down the sideline.
He seemed a little bit annoyed by something that Brovsky did on his way past, and instead of continuing the run and completing the play, he seemed to be just more annoyed with Jeb on that.
Taylor plays it out wide. No score here in the 8th minute. Both teams looking for some chances. A couple balls played into the box, but no real serious threat of a goal up to this point. Poku with some room plays it forward. Mullins looking to turn and can't get away from Houston defender, but a foul called, and it'll be a free kick for New York City Football Club just shy of midfield.
And Matt, that's a topic of discussion. I'm sure the lack of goal scoring. Last 2 matches against USL sides, no scores. What do you think are some of the remedies there?
Remedies, I'm not so sure. I think chances were created, especially against Austin a week ago. They hit the post. Jason Johnson did. Bruin had a few chances. Could have had 4 or 5 goals on a different day. Little different story against Charleston, as Owen Coyle said today. They were a tired team, got into Charleston about midnight on Friday, had the short turnaround with the early game, didn't create a ton of chances. Chandler Hoffman's in the first half was probably the best of the night. But you can make a lot about it in preseason, but mixed lineups. We'll see what happens tonight, but they do seem more active and maybe a bit fresher tonight.
New York City really controlling the pace right now. On the ball, Brandt plays it forward to Alvarez. Poku swinging out wide. Brovsky, quick touch. Velasquez to Alvarez. Back to Brovsky. New York City Football Club on the ball, and they're switching here from right to left. The ball played into the middle. Velasquez trying to get around one defender, can't do it. He's poked off the ball. It'll remain with New York City, but a whistle. And a free kick just across midfield. We were no score here in the 10th minute. We're watching the Carolina Challenge Cup on nycfc.com and Houston Dynamo's website. Thanks for joining us. Tom Kolker, Glenn Crooks, Matt Peterson with you. Beasley plays it out wide. Talk about that connection between Davis and Beasley. Is it pretty automatic at this point?
It's very good. You know, they started together in that final group stage game in Brazil against Germany, and just a few weeks later, Beasley comes to Houston, gets the job at left back, plays right behind Brad Davis. You know, Coyle experimented against Charleston with Boniek on the left side and Davis on the right just to mix things up, but I think Boniek has a great understanding with Kofi Sarkodie. Sarkodie speaks Spanish, so that helps, and then Beasley and Brad on the left side. So it's a lot of experience, a lot of pedigree on each side for Houston.
Beasley will take the free kick. First American player to play in 4 World Cups, 3 MLS All-Star appearances. That was back before he went over to Europe from 2001 to 2003. Dynamo on the ball. Ball touch forward looking for Bruin. Nicely done that time defensively by Facey, and that's the young player from Manchester City's EDS program, the Elite Development Team. And Glenn, he's really made a nice name for himself here in camp with New York City Football Club.
You know, I think there's a very good chance he will stick. We're hearing that there are negotiations to keep him around, so I'm sure that'll be good news to him. And, you know, how exactly he's utilized as the season progresses remains to be seen.
Vasquez with some room, plays it out wide. Mullins trying to track it down, collects it, plays it into the box, headed away. A nice run there by New York City Football Club, a little 4-on-4, and they were able to work it out wide to Mullins. But the Dynamo there defensively.
One of the things about playing 2 in the hole, and we've talked mostly about how it's more secure defensively up the middle of the field, but it also plays a role in possession, keeping the ball in that area of the field, holding mid to holding mid. And right now you see New York City FC, partly because of that, developing a little bit more rhythm in the attack.
12th minute here, no score. And both teams really looking for a good chance here in the first half as the ball gets deflected. Fitzgerald trying to clear it. It'll be a throw-in for New York City Football Club on the far side of the field.
I think that's a good sign. Bruin pressing that high, forcing the clearance from Fitzgerald. I think when the Dynamo have been at their best this preseason, it's been these type of plays, forcing the pressure really high up the field.
Referee says continue. Rito plays it out wide. Here comes Houston. Looking to attack, edge of the 18. Ball chipped into the box and cleared away by New York City's defensive line. Shelton looking to break the other way. Beasley takes it away, but he can't keep it in, and it'll be a throw-in for New York City.
And on cue there, Matt, another pressurized situation and a turnover by New York City FC, and a really good service. And we're trying to pick out the Houston player that was close to the area where it was served, but he was stationary at the time, and those are the ones where you have to time your movement in order to get inside the defender.
It was Bruin who was the target, and then Facey stepped in front, read it very well.
Alvarez gets pushed down and a whistle. It'll be a free kick just across midfield. Dynamo 3-2-1 in preseason play. They had a nice run at the Desert Friendlies, a win over San Jose, a draw against Portland, and a win over Vancouver. So it doesn't sound like offense really was an issue, at least in that initial tournament. 3 goals in that win over San Jose.
Yeah, and a lot can be made. No goals against 2 USL Pro sides, but you have to look at the opponent and their tactics. Against San Jose, a much more open game on a warm day in Tucson. 2 MLS teams looking to open up a bit. In some ways, it's tougher to score against a lower division team because they're going to sit organized numbers behind the ball, and might be just a different kind of assignment.
Here's the ball played over the top by Dunn, looking for Mullins. Shelton can't get to it, and it's played deep into New York City Football Club territory.
Miles Joseph discussing Fitzgerald, the New York City FC keeper, said he reminds him of Nick Raimondo, and he does have that build, great feet, and not enormous size, but a very good keeper.
Yeah, I saw him play last year. Carolina Railhawks against San Antonio had a very good night and very high regarded his time in NASL.
Alvarez tried to do a quick restart and went off of maybe Garrido there, and the referee's going to make him do it again. Pardon me, that was Taylor. He didn't want to let Alvarez get that quick restart. Jermaine Taylor, 77 caps for Jamaica. He's appeared in 56 games the last 2 seasons for the Dynamo, as Facey will get us restarted here in the 15th minute. No score between NYCFC and the Houston Dynamo.
And Matt, one of the things that I really was happy to hear Owen Coyle say yesterday, he wasn't really talking about shape or system, but he said it would be a positive system, meaning he's looking to attack early and attack frequently.
There we go. Here's Clark with some space. Leaves it out wide, looking for Bruin. Bruin, back heel, trying to find Davis. And that time cut off. The ball stays in play. Bruin. That time got tied up defensively by Poku. It'll be a free kick, but what a nice little combination there from Davis down the sideline, and that time springing Ricardo Clark.
Yeah, that entire sequence, guys, started by Luis Garrido, whose relentless pressure here right in front of the fourth official. One of those players that if you don't see him live, you may not appreciate his tenacity on defense, but that entire sequence was caused by his turnover.
Clark, another one of the main stalwarts in the middle for the Dynamo. Long career, 10-year MLS veteran, the last 7 years with the Dynamo, and another key player in that midfield for Houston. As we are in the 16th minute, no score. Watching the Carolina Challenge Cup. Tom Kolker, Glenn Crooks, Matt Peterson with you. Glenn and I will be your NYCFC radio broadcast team. Matt, the play-by-play man for Houston. Ball played over top in some space here for New York City. Edge of the 18. Here's a shot! And a nice save by Derek. But our first, Glenn, real good opportunity for New York City here in the first half.
Pretty well coordinated Poku turn and no pressure on the ball, so that's the signal for the forward line. We're going in behind, and on that occasion, it's the speedy Shelton. Defended well, and Shelton, if he had to do that all over again, might have tried to bend that a little bit further to the back post.
Shelton, of course, got the goal in the second half against Orlando City on a ball played into the box by Villa and tucked it under the keeper's right side to make it a 1-1 tie. And another foul against the Dynamo, so it'll be a free kick just across the midfield line. But it's the first time we've really seen guys, New York City trying to go over the top diagonally and play a long ball. And that time Shelton was able to collect it.
Well, I know the way Jason Kreis has indicated the way he wants to play is to strike quickly if it's on. I mean, you know, Real Salt Lake was always known as a possession-oriented team, but sometimes you get caught up in that. The idea is that if you can go forward early, you do it.
Here's Mullins, edge of the 18. Mullins toward the end line, chips it across, and this should be our first corner kick of the game. As that time a turnover leaves Mullins down the sideline, and he's able to create the corner kick. So for our first corner of the game, this will be NYCFC from the far flag.
I'll tell you, Jason has to be happy with the showing of what is the reserve side right now.
Alvarez plays a low in-swinger. Ball's headed down, not out, and finally goes out of bounds, but it'll be another corner kick. So both times we've seen Alvarez over the ball, both kicks have been pretty low. And it looks like he will line up to take this one again. Alvarez playing in Spain's third division, of course, has the connection with David Villa. The two played together from 2001 to 2003. So another low line drive kick. Ball's loose and cleared away by the Dynamo. Ahead to Lopez. Lopez now with some room at midfield. Chance for a 2-on-2. Lopez on the move. Clark joining. And a sliding tackle. What a play by Brovsky. That had a chance for a real opportunity for Houston Dynamo, as the break was on that time.
Well, Matt Dunn, he really made that happen for New York City FC with his recovery run to get him behind the play. He was the second player in, and he had to make a long run to get there, and a long, hard run. And Dunn, who has not seen much action, is playing with courage and is showing well here in the first half.
I thought some good signs on that break, though. Ricardo Clark bursting through the middle, showing some good pace. He's played a lot of minutes this preseason, so definitely approaching 90-minute form. And I thought good patience from Lopez, waiting for the right pass. Boniek was an option, maybe not a perfect option, so he waited and found Clark. So I thought a decent break, maybe not a chance in the end, but some positives.
There's Clark. Plays it to the near side. Rito down the line to Beasley, and it's cleared away by Brovsky. We talked about Clark being a veteran, 7 years with the Dynamo, as an all-star in 2007, 2006. He was MLS Best 11. And Beasley, of course, one of the biggest names in U.S. soccer.
Yeah, 4 World Cups is not too bad.
Yeah. 5th most appearances. He's 9th in goals and 8th in assists all time. Ball played out wide as the Dynamo switch it. Dunn able to clear it at the top of the box.
Tell you, the Dynamo had good numbers in the box, really close to goal. They were 4 versus 3.
Oniak plays it into the middle, and the ball cleared, and a turnover. Here comes Brovsky with some space, playing it forward. Velasquez looking to turn. Velasquez dribbling, but can't get away from 2 Dynamo players closing in. That time, a nice job by Lopez to help out defensively. Will be a throw-in for New York City Football Club here in the 21st minute. See Brovsky wearing the armband. Brovsky, the 19th pick in 2011 by Vancouver. Played 2 seasons with Montreal. Traded to NYCFC from Montreal. The ball played out wide. New York City looking to attack. Dunn, edge of the 18. Trying to play it across the box. Not a good clearance by the Dynamo. Free ball, middle of the field. Brovsky over to knock it down. He'll play it back to Connor Brandt. Brandt, New York City's 2nd pick. 2nd round, the 23rd pick overall.
I think one thing to watch, guys, is Luis Garrido for the Dynamo against Poku. Poku's done some nice things there in the middle turning. You saw Garrido come in with the slide, but I think we'll see Garrido closer to Poku as this half wears along.
Time deep ball played again for Shelton, and Dynamo do a nice job just to clear it off the line here. As both teams really still looking for a real good opportunity. We saw Shelton from the top of the box strike one. That was had some good pace, but a relatively easily save for Derek.
Well, when you shoot it where the hands are, that's the easiest save for a keeper.
Here's Connor Brandt to take the throw-in. He was the West Coast Conference Player of the Year last year with San Diego, and although he was along the back line, had 7 goals and 6 assists for the Toreros.
A little Meg action from Mullins.
Mullins trying to get it through a couple defenders, and New York City still controlling. Brandt plays it back. Poku in the middle. And New York City will look to regroup in midfield. Facey plays a long diagonal. Looking for Shelton. Shelton went up high to get it and a little too much pace on it. And let's see if this is going to be, it looks like it's going to be a goal kick.
Not a bad thought, a diagonal service like that. You probably want it more driven as it's floating in there. Gives Houston a chance to recover, and it's really tough to handle for the attacking player as well. Something driven, we can head the ball now back across the face of the goal, perhaps even bring it down and go 1v1.
So here is Derek to take the kick, 7-year veteran. Started the final 9 games of 2014 for the Dynamo. The number 2 keeper from 2011 to 2013. And again, in a fight with Willis for the starting goalkeeper job for this Houston squad. Here's Beasley keeping possession. Davis looking for a call. There's no whistle. New York City looking to counter. Rito plays it wide to Beasley. Beasley, nice one touch. Looking down the line. That poked away by Brovsky. Poku with it. Poku plays it across. Here's Brandt. Rain starting to come down a little harder here on Daniel Island. And a whistle as Alvarez gets taken down. It's about the 3rd or 4th time we've seen Alvarez on the ground.
And Matt, we were speaking before the game, the three of us, and you talked about Garrido and his engine, but how hard he works, and you're getting a glimpse of that certainly here. He doesn't mind getting into the physical part of the game.
Yeah, he's hungry. I think his second game with the Dynamo was a loss in Seattle, but he was in the back pocket of Dempsey the entire game. By the end of it, Dempsey pretty frustrated, but Seattle won the game.
Here's Alvarez trying to dance between defenders. Out by 1, not 2. As Houston looks to regroup. Beasley now trying to push the other way and start the attack. And a nice job that time again by Brovsky to come over and just knock it out of bounds. We've seen a couple nice solid plays from Brovsky on that back line.
Absolutely, but prior to that, Alvarez, boy, he broke the line initially, and that's where you're looking for a quick combination to get in. You really generally aren't going to be able to dribble through 3-4 at that part of the field.
Beasley playing it down the line for Bruin. Back heel looking for Davis. That pass not quite strong enough. Watson Tourbeau, who is one of 6 players on this New York City Football Club team to have experience at Real Salt Lake with head coach Jason Kreis. Of course, the longest tenured guys were Chris Wingert and Grabavoy. 6 years and 8 years, respectively. 25th minute here, no score. You can see the rain now pouring. It is just absolutely opened up here in South Carolina.
The suggestion was that at 5 o'clock it was going to get heavy, but it has beat that by about 33 minutes.
Again, this game was originally supposed to start at 5 o'clock. They moved it up to 4, but the rain has started here in South Carolina. Beasley looking for Davis that time to make a run. Knocked out by Velasquez. Here's Beasley with it. We'll take the throw in as we have no score here in the 26th minute. Well, that time Davis was lining up for a big shot. Knocked off the ball and cleared out of bounds. So some good pressure here by Brad Davis. Brovsky will play it back to Fitzgerald. Header won that time by Taylor, but it goes to Poku. Poku looking for Mullins to make a run. Taylor gets a head on it. Mullins was ready to go, but a nice play by Jermaine Taylor defensively to get back and get a head on that ball.
Well, we've seen that Poku has the ability to deliver the ball at different paces, but in an attempt to get behind the defense.
Here's Will Bruin. He was ready to go, but the offside flag is up. Bruin had one of the best seasons of any player in MLS in 2012. Set a franchise record with 16 goals. That was just his second year. It tied an MLS record for most goals by a second-year player and had 10 last year before a foot injury.
Yeah, he looked frustrated there. It was a very close call. It seemed to take a deflection right as it went past the last defender. Bruin thought he was onside. We'll see about a possible replay, but that was and he was in one-on-one. That would have been the best chance for either team of the night if the flag stayed down.
Velasquez plays it forward. Ball played in by Brovsky. Into the box. It's knocked down. And that time Shelton poked off the ball. Alvarez trying to win it back, but a nice play on the far side by Boniak. Still with it on the far side of the field. Able to collect it. And a whistle. This is going to go against New York City. So some good pressure by New York City, but defensively, Houston showing the calm presence, especially with the veteran Sarkody over there, Rodriguez, who, although is new, is a very experienced player. And Taylor's had a couple nice plays so far along that defensive line.
Yeah, Sarkody entering his 5th season. He and Bruin just 4 picks apart in the 2011 draft. Rodriguez has slotted in well, and Taylor also entering his 5th season. So some experience along that back line, and Rodriguez, good pedigree from La Liga.
Got a quality service from New York City. Bent in and tough to deal with for Sarkody. And you saw that Kyrie Shelton got the ball, the second ball, and he was not completely aware of his surroundings. I know it's inside the box and there's a lot going on, but ended up losing possession. Back the last time New York City had it close.
A little foul here on Houston. It'll be a free kick for New York City Football Club. Facey plays it out wide. Here's Brandt. New York City working on the far side of the field. Shelton loses it, and Houston looking to counter and go the other way. Ball played wide to Beasley with some space. Beasley just shy of midfield. On the move. Sends it to the near sideline for Davis. Davis back to Beasley as Lopez and Bruin press forward. They switch field, send it to the far side. Some good possession here by the Dynamo. Ball played into the middle to Clark.
Great switch there from DeMarcus. 50 yards, right on the foot of Kofi Sarkody.
Beasley. Lopez. Switch it back to the middle of the field. Some good possession here, but Dynamo retreating a little bit. Here's Rodriguez. Plays it out wide. So Cody into the middle for Lopez. Lopez, nice move. Lopez gets poked off the ball.
Rodriguez just pulled a glute or a hamstring. I'm certain he'll be coming out.
Yeah, not what you want to see at all. Rodriguez has had a great preseason. Looks like he was running back and clutched that right leg.
He's trying to stretch it out, but I would doubt that Owen Coyle will take any chance on this. And I was just about to remark, boy, he is smooth in the back.
Yeah, opening night for the Dynamo 9 days away. So obviously you hope it's something minor.
They will attend to him and see who Coach Coyle gets up off the bench here. We're in the 30th minute. No score here. Tom Kolker, Glenn Crooks, Matt Peterson with you. And if you're just joining us, best chance so far maybe Kyrie Shelton from top of the box on a shot that had some good pace behind it, but was right at the goalkeeper. It looked like about 5-6 minutes ago, Will Bruin was about to be sprung. The offside flag just comes up at the last second, but that would have been interesting to see what he could have done. It would have been about a 20-yard race, and it was on at that point. There really are two good or what would have been the best opportunity, no doubt, for Houston as Rodriguez comes out.
So he's talking to Owen Coyle, and you can see where he's reaching. You don't have it on your screen at this point, but just below the buttocks on the right side, that's where he's rubbing and feeling it. So, you know, that could be a hamstring and that could be a glute. So the glute usually less time to recover from.
David Horst in to replace Rodriguez. Horst, a 7-year MLS veteran who's spent last year with the Portland Timbers, acquired via trade to the Dynamo. A guy who certainly knows the back line, has had a lot of MLS experience. A big guy at 6'4", so he's into the game in the 32nd minute as we have no score here. We're watching the Carolina Challenge Cup from Daniel Island, Charleston, just about 20 minutes from Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah, Horst, 31 games last year. Had some small injuries middle of the season, but started at least the last dozen or so. He and Taylor, primary partners in the back last year for Houston.
We have a player down for New York City on the far side of the field.
Connor.
Maybe Connor
excuse
Brandt.
me, done. I think it's done. Well, we'll check it out in a minute, and he seems to be in a lot of pain.
A little bit of collision on the far. That's the far side of the field. See Shelton in the picture.
Well, the coaches at this point of preseason are going to be very, very careful, but players will, no matter how careful you are, no matter how you adjust and follow the sports science and all these different things, the wear and tear of travel and different kinds of things, the body can break down. But, again, one of the things Jason Kreis pointed out to us today is, there's a plan leading into that March 8th game and beyond in terms of how they take care of the bodies of their players. And obviously injuries are a part of every sport, including this one, and sometimes they are unavoidable. And these conditions, a bit slippery. Players might go into tackles a little bit haphazardly and out of control, and perhaps at times not their own fault.
New York City playing with 10 men right now. We are back to live action. One time, Clark playing it out wide. For Sarkody, a little give and go, ball into the middle, again trying to find Bruin. And it'll just be cleared back toward midfield. Garrido will send it to the near side.
Yeah, Dunn is not going to continue. He's in a great deal of pain, limping heavily with the help of the trainer. So that's it for him this afternoon. And it looks like Josh Williams is warming, so they'll give him a chance to make certain that he is loose and ready to go before they insert him into the game.
It's actually, I believe that's actually Brandt, Connor Brandt, because Dunn, appears Dunn is still in the game.
Oh, you're right.
So we'll try and get an update at halftime for you, but it looks like Connor Brandt is out of the game.
No, you're right, Tom, and that would make more sense with Williams coming into the fullback slot in place of Brandt.
New York City Football Club playing with 10 men right now as Williams starts to warm up on the sideline. Taylor plays the ball out wide. So Cody knocks it down. Good ball in. Headed on goal. And a save for Fitzgerald, but a nice looking play. As that time, I believe Lopez got a head on it and a save by Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I think a great sign. Sarkody there with time and space. Good switch from Taylor, but he used his left. Good in-swinging service from the left foot of Kofi Sarkody, and do a great spot for Bruin.
And that time Bruin attacked the ball as well.
A little give and go trying to find Poku. Nice job by Clark to knock him off the ball. No score here in the 35th minute. Here's Beasley with some space. Finds Davis. Davis, hold play up. Rito into the middle. Clark sends it out wide as they switch it from left to right. Dynamo looking to create as the ball's played into the middle. So I'm looking for Lopez. And it'll go out of bounds and be a throw-in for New York City.
Well, when you're playing against a single striker, it pays off to probe and move it left to right, right to left, and find the seams while you're probing. You're not going to get much pressure from the quote-unquote front line in this particular setup.
36th minute here, no score. Both teams still looking for a real quality chance. I'd say that header moments ago by the Dynamo, their best chance of the first half on a good-looking ball played in by Sarkody. Here he is with it. Winning possession again for the Dynamo. Beasley with a lot of room down the near sideline. I'll play it back. Quick one-touch right back to DeMarcus Beasley. Velasquez able to get a foot on it and just knock it out of bounds. Beasley, the 5th most caps for U.S. national team. He's also scored the most goals in the UEFA Champions League by an American with 6. This guy's got a lot of awards and marks next to his name. Outstanding career. New York City on the move. Shelton on the run, showing his speed. Plays it back. Velasquez. 2 defenders closing back to Shelton. Shelton will send it back to Brovsky. Brovsky on the dribble. Played all the way back to Fitzgerald, who's way out of the box. When it looked like New York City might have had something developing there.
And it started with Sebastian Vasquez, that delicate little chip onto the feet of Poku, who toe poked it ahead to make it happen, but it really started with Velasquez.
You cannot believe that call.
The refs missed that one.
Yeah.
It was Velasquez fell over and put the ball out.
Yeah,
No Dynamo player touched it.
You can see why Beasley was upset. It'll be a throw-in for New New York City Football Club. Mullins can't get to it. Instead, we go the other way. Lopez, one touch out wide. Sarkody will slow it down, play it in the middle to Garrido. Garrido down to New York City territory. Looks to turn. There's a good ball played in the near side to Beasley. 3 players pressing forward for the Dynamo. Beasley on the move, still with it. Beasley, edge of the 18, trying to play it across. It's knocked out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in for NYCFC.
9 players behind the ball for New York City FC, so that's tough to penetrate against. And again, the patience will pay off for Houston.
We're approaching halftime here, 38th minute, no score. Each team with one real good opportunity. Here might be another for the Dynamo, but a nice play by Alvarez. Bodiak was looking like he was getting ready to line up a shot from just outside the box. And Alvarez doing a nice job to pinch back defensively. Quick whistle, Poku will take it.
Enjoyed seeing Kyrie Shelton run in behind Mullins on that. Mullins was looking to flick, and Shelton would have been there.
Here's Facey, plays it back to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald, second team All-ACC at Wake Forest. Ball played into the Dynamo territory. Beasley knocks it down. One touch into the middle by Davis. And again, they swing it. Houston does a really nice job of switching fields. They look very comfortable working it from one side to the other.
Yeah, that seems to be a big improvement from Saturday night against Charleston. Using Garrido and Clark in the middle, switching to right and to left.
Bruins switching it back to Beasley, who will send it out wide. Davis does a nice job to collect it. Davis drifting toward the end line, plays it across the box. Looking back post, it's knocked down and cleared out. But again, Davis looking back post that time. And I believe
it was Garcia who did a great job of knocking that down for Clark and creating a possible chance in the box. And now we see Josh Williams coming in after a proper warm-up. And now New York City FC will get to play 11 aside.
Back to 11 men aside. Connor Bright, if you're just joining us, went out with an injury. We won't speculate what it is. Happened about 5 minutes ago right at midfield. As we get an update, we'll pass it along. But Brandt getting the start and going down on a hard tackle. We'll see what the results are. Hopefully we'll be able to pass along the latest with him after the halftime break. We're in the 41st minute here, no score. We've seen a little better offensive pace and play from the Dynamo here the last 3 or 4 minutes. They've done a nice job of working it out wide, getting into the box. One real good chance so far for New York City FC.
Yeah, I thought a really smart play by Davis there. Maybe wasn't a free runner in the box, so he just used his experience, floated it to the back post.
New York City on the move. The ball played into the box, looking for Mullins. And it'll be a corner kick for New York City, the third of the game.
Jermaine Taylor in a good spot defensively, and certainly giving up the corner is the proper move there as he was facing the end line.
I'm trying to find Velasquez, who's making a run late.
And you notice Houston, like New York City FC, no one on the back post defensively.
Alvarez plays it in, headed out. Time a better ball in by Alvarez. And a whistle. This will be a free kick for the Dynamo. Dynamo last season 11, 17, and 6 in MLS play. And interesting, Matt, they're going back to the Western Conference. They started out in the West, went to the East in 2011, and now they make the move back. They've had success wherever they've been, but talk about that move and what it means back to the Western Conference.
I think it'll be great. You get Dallas 3 times a year, most years. In the past few seasons, just once. Kansas City follows the Dynamo to the West. Dynamo and Kansas City, playoff rivals in 3 of the last 4 years. And then, of course, teams like the Galaxy or the Dynamo have met in the playoffs, and San Jose with the ties to Houston. So there's a lot of natural rivalries in the West.
Sarkody with a ton of space on the far side of the field, playing it down the line. Houston trying to make a run here late in the first half. It goes out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in. Poku with it.
It's interesting, that ball played to Sarkody. Poku was actually closer to have the ability to close him down, but instead it was Velasquez who elected to go in and cut down the angle, which gives you the idea that they want those two holding mids to stay central for New York City FC.
Hard tackle by Brovsky. It'll be a throw-in for the Dynamo here as we were in the 43rd minute with no score. Davis. That pass deflected and is cleared back toward midfield. You certainly have to say, guys, the last 3 or 4 minutes, possession really dominated by the Dynamo.
Well, I think one thing that's happening, Tom, is there's a lot of direct service for New York City, and the second ball is gobbled up by Houston on almost every occasion. You've got Poku and Dunn sitting back, and you have the attacking midfielders kind of in different spaces, but not underneath Mullins. So if they're going to play like that, they need to be in position for the second ball.
Brovsky will get us started again, and here in the 44th minute, he plays all the way back to Fitzgerald.
Another thing I think Houston has done well is they've really defended in numbers. You saw a moment ago, Alex Lopez, not really known for his defensive work rate, helping out against Poku, won the ball, and that was Dominic Kinnear's demand for Alex Lopez the last 2 seasons was more work defensively, and maybe he's turned a corner here in year 3 with Houston.
Beasley playing it forward.
And another second ball lost.
Lopez into the middle. Houston attacking. Maniak in the middle. Back to Lopez. Lopez outside the 18. Plays it out wide. Here's Davis. Davis swings it into the box. Edge of the 6. Headed out by New York City. So another good chance for the Dynamo, but give credit to NYCFC, Glenn. They're composed along that back line. The ball's come into the box several times, but they've been able to clear it most times.
Well, Josh Williams on that occasion got the mini clearance and then took it himself to keep possession and did well as New York City builds their attack. On
the move in Dynamo territory, the ball played out wide. Alvarez trying to get there, and a great sliding tackle by Taylor. What a play defensively by Taylor as Alvarez was on the move.
Yeah, Taylor's had a really sharp preseason. You saw it right there. Confident. Got down early on the long sliding challenge.
Looked like a dangerous ball momentarily. Just cleared out of bounds. So it'll be a throw-in. As we are approaching the 45th minute, we'll see how much added time is put on here. No score. It's the Carolina Challenge Cup deep throw in here for New York City Football Club. Ball played to the edge of the 18. Alvarez. Both teams fighting for possession. Houston coming away with it as New York City FC unable to really penetrate the edge of the 18 there off that deep throw-in.
Yeah, and again you saw Lopez with the impetus to work back from his second striker role and help defending. All positive signs for Lopez as maybe he's becoming more of a two-way player.
Well, that's a part of the leaking so many goals last year, I would imagine, is that there were some, I don't know this, you know it better than us, but that two-way play, because you look at the back line and the experience back there and how they're playing, it's almost shocking that so many goals were allowed.
Well, we reach halftime here at Daniel Island. No score here between Houston Dynamo and New York City Football Club, guys. Let's just get your thoughts on that first half. Glenn, we'll start with you in New York City.
Well, they're playing in that 4-2-3-1, and I think the last comment I made about the attack, they used those two holders to help keep possession, but it seemed like the three in front of them were maybe almost too mobile and not available, and then they became more direct and no second ball coverage. As for Houston, they really started to, I think, become more patient. They recognized the different spots where they could attack, and that's why they had more of the possession in the latter part of the half.
Yeah, they did a really nice job of switching back and forth, and like Glenn said, I'd say the last 5 or 6 minutes, they really controlled the tempo of this game.
I thought it was very positive from Houston, much better than Wednesday. Very good defensive effort, especially up high as New York built out of the back, some good switching play, and they generated some good chances.
We will take a short break at the half. It is Houston and New York City Football Club. No score. We'll come back with all the stats and the call of the second half after this short timeout.
the 2015 Subaru Forester. The most award-winning small SUV with better fuel economy than competing models. And the certainty down the road you expect from a Subaru. The 2015 Subaru Forester. It's a whole lot to love.
Come see what everybody loves at Cruise Subaru.
And maintain the love with complimentary maintenance included only at Cruise Subaru on Rivers.
In Mount Pleasant, we don't limit happiness to an hour. We let it stretch out wide. From sunrise tea times on world-class courses to afternoon walks through history and evenings at some of the country's best restaurants. All this in just 5 minutes to the beach and downtown Charleston. Set your watch to happy time, y'all, and come on over.
Welcome back, everybody. Tom Colker, Glenn Crooks, Matt Peterson with you here. No score at halftime. Guys, let's go over some of the first half storylines. And we saw NYCFC get off to a pretty good start, a nice chance from Shelton from just outside of the box. But really, it was Houston late, kind of controlled the tempo and the pace. And Matt had a couple good looks, one header that time from Lopez. But overall, some nice play by Houston late in the first half.
Yeah, the only real negative for Raul Rodriguez, right leg injury, not sure really the severity or the exact injury, but outside of that, very positive. I thought the front group has been very active, pressing high, and some good switch of field from Houston throughout the first half.
And Glenn, for New York City FC, we saw late in the first half Connor Brandt go down with a similar leg injury. We don't know similar to with Rodriguez, we don't know the extent or what exactly happened. It was on the far side of the field on a sliding tackle. We hope he's okay, but replaced by Williams late in the first half.
Yeah, and that messes with Jason Christ's rotation a bit. You know, Williams is one of the players who he's got targeted to start against Orlando on March the 8th and really didn't want to put him in that early. And it'll be interesting to see if he does any kind of maneuvering in the latter stages of the second half to give Williams more time off. But it's too bad for Connor Brandt and several of the players on the field in the first half. You know, they're fighting for time, they're fighting for a spot, and although we're not told exactly who those players are from training session to training session throughout the preseason, you would think Connor Brandt out of San Diego is one of them. So now we'll have the what you would call the regulars standing by. We'll expect to see the same group out to start the second half, and then the regulars come in about 15 minutes in.
Do you think Coach Coyle will come with a similar game plan in terms of, do you expect to see a lot of subs or maybe stick with the lineup that was out there in the first half? What's been the tendency in the preseason?
Yeah, the tendency has been to let this starting group go at least to the 60th minute. You know, we don't know about any nagging injuries or ailments, but I think this group would probably go at least 60, maybe 75. Not sure exactly what they plan on doing Saturday against Orlando in the preseason finale, but from the start of preseason, he's given a lot of the veterans a lot of minutes, including Brad Davis, Ricardo Clark, Jermaine Taylor, Will Bruin as well. So the core veterans will not complain about a shortage of minutes this preseason.
Well, the thing is, you're trying to get game fit. I mean, you're looking to play and be ready for 90 minutes on March. Your opener is the 7th, so that's a day earlier, and that's 24 hours earlier, and that's a difference.
Take a look at the starting lineups as we get set for the second half. This is game 1 of 2. It'll be Charleston and Orlando City to follow, and then Saturday, NYCFC will take on Charleston, and this Houston Dynamo team will take on Orlando. And, of course, New York City FC will take on Orlando to open up the season on March 8th. Amazing, already over 40,000 tickets sold for that one. They're trying to get to 65 and fill the Citrus Bowl. Glenn, I know when you were at Rutgers, you had a game there.
Well, the football team played a bowl game there. It wasn't the Citrus Bowl, and at this moment I don't remember the name of the bowl because I don't know all the sponsors that do all the bowl games. But I experienced that with my daughter. And they've actually renovated the stadium since then, so I know that Orlando excited about that facility.
All right, just about set to go here for the second half. We'll see if we get a goal or two. Both teams with a couple good chances in the first half, but nothing that you would call a miss or an outstanding opportunity. As we are underway here in the second half, long ball played forward for Shelton, trying to find Mullins. Dunn knocks it down and cleared away by Garrido, who was all over the place in the first half.
And, Tom, I should say Orlando City probably more excited that they have a made-for-soccer stadium, which they'll start playing in the 2016 season.
Sarkody playing a deep ball, looking for Bruin, but nice job defensively that time by NYCFC's Watson Tourbeau. Came over and deflected him off the ball. Early turnover. Here's the Dynamo with it. Ball played forward. Good ball out wide. Sarkody making a run from his right back position. Sarkody playing it down the line. Garcia does a nice job to keep it in. Plays it across. Headed away, but knocked down. Here's a shot. Blocked up front. Dynamo wanted a handball. No call. And the save is made.
Yeah, it looked like it may have been. Referee was sort of running away from the box. Slipped right after the possible handball, so maybe not in the best position, but Houston certainly saw it that way.
That's what it would have been one of my favorite goals if it were connected. The fullback on the right serving it and the fullback on the left finishing it. And that was Sarkodie and then Beasley. Nice three-player combo. That's the first time I think we've really seen a three-player combination, which really generated that attack last time for Houston. Right here along the near sideline with Sarkodie getting sprung in to make that service. All right, there's silence right now. Everybody's looking at each other and hands in the air. And
so Sarkodie will take it. Sarkodie, 3 caps for the U.S. under-23 team, the number 7 pick of the 2011 draft. He's been a stalwart on that right side. 78 appearances in the last 2 years for the Dynamo. It's into Lopez. Sarkodie looking back now. He'll play it forward again, looking for Bruin. Headed away again by Watson Tourbeau. Second half just underway. Beasley trying to play it out wide. We had a hard rain the last 10 minutes of the first half. Looks like it's calmed down a little bit. Good weather to start, and then it just opened up here on Daniel Island. Both teams fighting for possession in midfield. Ball comes near side. Here's Williams, who entered late in the first half. Plays into the middle. Poku pushes it forward. Good ball. Alvarez plays it out wide. NYCFC on the move. Switch it back to Williams. Williams being pressured by Garcia. Some good pressure there.
And that's been a constant this entire game for Houston, especially pressing on these sidelines. That's Boniek with the 20-yard sprint to not make it easy on Williams. I'm sure Owen Coyle very happy with the effort so far.
no doubt about that, but the circulation changing from one side of the field to the other is happening with a little bit too much lethargy for New York City FC, and it's enabling Houston to recover and put the pressure on initially.
Good play by Sarkodie to clear it out of the box. He'll send it out wide, and Beasley with a ton of room on the far side of the field. Beasley in NYCFC territory. Beasley still with it. Now looking for help. Lopez comes over. Gets it right back to Beasley. Beasley plays into the middle to Clark. Clark out wide. Possession here, and Beasley can't. It's just like I say that he loses it and goes back to New York City FC. Ball played into the middle. Mullins, nice ball out wide. 3-on-3. NYCFC into the box. The ball played across, looking for Mullins, back post. Shelton able to track it down. Here's Williams. Williams plays it to the edge of the 18. Shelton goes down. He just tripped. Poku with it. Poku out wide. Brovsky. Alvarez poked off the ball. A couple players collide. No whistle. Still free. And Beasley over to track it down. Beasley being pressured on that far side of the field. Alvarez and Velasquez closing quickly. Well, somehow does not go out of bounds. It stays in play, and there is a whistle finally. It looked like both teams a couple times were looking for that whistle. It just never came.
Well, that whole thing started with a really nice delayed run by Alvarez, who bent himself out of the middle of the field, got himself wide, and he put a great service in here. And then the ball stayed in this end for a bit, and now Houston has control.
Of course, the Dynamo MLS Cup winners in 2006, 2007. 4 total appearances, 6 conference finals. So they're a team that has had a ton of success since moving that 2006 season from San Jose to Houston. A lot of room on the near sideline for Sarkodie. In NYCFC territory, plays it down the line. Good ball. Bruin plays it back. Madiak out wide. Well played across the box. A shot and a goal. Houston leads at 1-0. Good ball played out wide, and the cross came in, and it is 1-0 Dynamo.
Yeah, outstanding build-up from the get-go. That entire sequence began with Alex Lopez dropping off, receiving the ball, laying it back to the right back Sarkodie. Very patient build-up, and then a cool finish from Brad Davis, as you'd expect.
Yeah, Davis gets the goal, and it is 1-0. What a great ball played across the box.
In that sequence, so well described by Matt, every pass was either 1 or 2 touches. And one of the things you notice, the ball moved pretty well for Houston in the first half, especially the latter stages. But you get the feeling that Owen Coyle said, limit the touches at halftime. And on the New York City FC side, certainly they've been in the Houston end a little bit more frequently here in the early stages. And I think what Jason Kreis might have said is given some of the players like a Pogu more liberty to get forward.
Here's a replay. Oh, we saw the replay of the goal by Davis.
One change there for Houston. Chandler Hoffman comes on for Lopez. So I think a very positive play for him. He had a big grin on his face as he ran off the field. His last play was starting the build up to that goal, and I thought a very good 52 minutes from the young Honduran.
We see Hoffman on the field as Houston leads at 1-0. Goal in the 52nd minute by Brad Davis, the difference right now.
And Matt, that Honduran connection, we mentioned it briefly in the first half, but you told a good story before the game, just how it developed, and part of it was geographic. Yeah,
absolutely. Gold Cup comes through Houston quite a bit, and Honduras or El Salvador or both are oftentimes paired in Houston. So Dominic Kinnear able to watch Boniek Garcia in the Gold Cup, I think in 2010 or 11. It took about a year to find him and complete the transfer with Olympia. But he had a great first season, and Dynamo went on to add Lopez and Garrido after watching them in games in Houston and in the World Cup qualifiers.
And a whistle here as player down for the Dynamo.
Yeah, it's Garrido grabbing that left foot.
Looks like a yellow card has been issued.
There's 5 New York City FC players around the official, so not sure which player was carded. On the goal as well, I don't know if it's possible for us to see it again, but it seemed like there were plenty of defenders in there for New York City. However, on the weak side, sometimes you get caught ball watching, and Davis snuck in so well, and what a great finish first time.
They attend to Garrido, and we'll see if we get the official call on the booking. But it is 1-0 Houston.
I think we could suggest that Sheldon, it might have been a bit of a frustration foul, as Garrido has been so active and gets stuck in on so many tackles and is involved so much in the middle of the field. Unfortunately, or fortunately, hopefully the diagnosis is, as they check the knee, is everything's okay, but when they, right there doing the ACL test.
Here's a look at that goal again. And again, the ball played out wide and crossed, and Davis was in perfect position and just, like you said, Matt, did not miss. Calmly put it low and in the back of the net.
Well, there were enough defenders in there. However, they didn't, I don't think, move themselves into proper position quickly enough. And but the service was fantastic. So you got to give credit to the attacking side. And I'm sure Owen Coyle didn't see his reaction along the sideline, but it had to have been positive because scoreless in the last 2 matches and finally get that goal.
Very good sign. Garrido about to re-enter the field. His nickname translates as the Beast, one of the toughest players you'll meet. So you know if he's good, he'll stay in. But a good sign here, just a week and a half from the season starting. He's going to stay in this game.
Ball played forward from Mullins, and the offside flag was up.
He was definitely in an offside position when it was served.
Maybe Garrido and Marshawn Lynch could get together.
The beast mode.
Yeah.
I think they could get along.
56th minute, 1-0 Houston. Brad Davis, the goal in the 52nd minute early on here in the second half of play. The difference right now.
Does Garrido speak to the press?
He will, mostly Spanish, but
all right, well.
Boniek, Garcia, Garrido, and Lopez, they're all taking English classes, I believe, 3 nights a week. So hopefully by the end of the year, he'll be full English interviews.
Facey tried to play it forward to Dunn. It was poked off the ball. Ball played back toward midfield. Both teams looking for possession. Boniek trying to race down the line. Shelton did a nice job to force him out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for NYCFC.
The question is off asked if how David Villa's English is, and Jason Kreis said recently that when he met him in the summer he couldn't speak any English, and now he's not fluent necessarily, but he can speak and he can understand everything, so he's made incredible progress.
Sarkodie with the throw-in NYCFC territory will send it down the line. Ooh. There we go. He lost it. He just, a little wet out there. He lost possession of it.
He'll put it down and see if they target Mullins. You guys have to try to answer this trivia question. I got to get back to it before Mullins gets taken out. Back-to-back Herman Trophy Award win. That's significant. Top player in college soccer at Maryland.
Yep.
Only 2 others won back-to-back over the years. And if you guys, I promise a steak dinner, if you guys haven't looked it up, if you know the answer.
I like a steak, but I don't know the answer. The ball played forward for Sheldon. And
I didn't know the answer, believe me.
I could venture a few guesses, but
Well,
Jacob Peterson, Indiana. Maybe goes back further than that.
no, Peterson, no. Not back-to-back.
Good ball played in, looking for Clark. And headed out of danger, but there is Ricardo Clark making that run late in the middle of the field, and NYCFC may have lost track of him momentarily. And again, another good ball going played in from out wide.
Well, both fullbacks with great service. Beasley, natural left footer, bending it in. Sarkodie, same thing from his side. So that service is really important.
We throw in for the Dynamo. Both teams warming up a lot of players along the sideline. As we approach the 60th minute, here's a ball played in. Ball's up to collect it.
Yeah, Owen Coyle has had a constant refrain with media. You know, the best side in football is the ball hitting the back of the net. He said probably the second best side is a winger getting to the end line and deliver the cross because it brings the fans out of their seats. So a man who clearly appreciates a good service from a corner.
Brodsky playing it forward toward midfield. Knocked down by the Dynamo. Taylor wins it back. Ball played to the near sideline for Sarkodie with a lot of room. Sarkodie looking deep. Plays a quick ball ahead for Bruin and poked away nicely that time by Watson Tourbeau.
2 young men who played for St. Louis University. Al Trost, 1969-70. Mike Seary, 71-72. So 4 years in a row, St. Louis garnered that, and that was in the early stages of the actual Herman Award. So there you go.
So Mullins in rare company, winning in 2012 and 2013 at the University of Maryland.
Yeah, I think a good story. You know, he sort of dropped in the draft. A lot of teams weren't sold on him. New England able to pick him after they got Newman earlier in the draft, but a guy that may have had one of the best rookie seasons after a great college career.
He had 4 goals and assists in 21 appearances.
Assist in the MLS Cup final.
He's been a little frustrated up front. You could just tell from the body language at times. Nothing sustainable, but and there he is now discussing it with, I'm not sure if that's with the official or with Alvarez, but he's making these bending runs. He's trying to time his runs, especially when there's no pressure on the ball, and there's not always that proper delivery or delivery at all.
Throw in for the Dynamo. They lead at 1-0. You're just joining us, Brad Davis, in the 52nd minute. Put it low and away and giving Houston the 1-0 lead on a beautiful ball that was swung into the box, and Davis calmly put it in the back of the net.
Chris Wingard, who will be entering the game for New York City FC when the mass substitutions occur, which is going to happen probably at the next dead ball.
Here's a chance for NYCFC, but the offside flag is up once again on the far side of the field.
That's Mullins, but Wingard also won the Herman Award when he was at St. John's in 2003, and there's another gentleman in the stadium who won it, Claudio Reyna, technical director with Virginia in 93.
Well, here come...
All right, that's it for my trivia, by the way.
Well, that's a good one.
That's good, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Here come the substitutions for NYCFC. You have, and Glenn, we'll get to everybody, but a big one for NYCFC, Javier Calle in for the first time, and I know we talked about it on the What to Watch For segment earlier today. He's a guy they're very excited about.
And we'll see in training he was generally on the right side of the pitch where you can utilize the thunder strikes with the left that he can develop by inside dribble and space to shoot. So we'll get a look at and see exactly how they're set up, number one, and which player is where here in the second half in terms of the spacing.
Well, they immediately try to find Tony Taylor over the top. But again, Houston doing a nice job defensively as the forward can't spring. Boniak plays it back.
So Kaye is on the right side, Tom, excuse me. And it look they're going to keep the same system or spacing with Diskerud and Jacobson will hold in the midfield. And then Belushi out on the left.
And Taylor up front. I also mentioned Rawls in goal. First time we're getting a look at him in this tournament. 1-0 Houston on top. This is the Carolina Challenge Cup. Houston looking for a win after a 1-0 loss to Charleston. NYCFC coming in off of the 1-1 draw against Orlando City. Goal coming from Kyrie Shelton in the 57th minute. Here's Williams, who entered in the first half for Connor Brandt, who went down with a leg injury. Haven't been able to get an update just yet on his status, but we hope he's okay. We hope Raul Rodriguez is okay as well. Also went down in the first half. Here's Davis, our goal scorer, out wide. Davis with some room, playing it forward. Good ball. Houston. Oh, see, looks like the offside flag along the near sideline was up. We're talking about Davis. 6 All-Star appearances. He is 9th all-time in games played. He's tied for 4th in assists coming into MLS play this year with 112. Just a remarkable run. And since 2009, his 72 assists lead Major League Soccer. Shows you how strong he's been. Here's Diskerud. Mix plays it forward. Belushi, one touch. Jacobson, back to Belushi. Belushi on the far side of the field. NYCFC looking to build something up here, deep on the far side. Well played into the middle. Some good possession here by New York City FC. Into the box. Knocked down. There's a shot. Blocked. Again, Houston holding up defensively, but some more penetration here by NYCFC.
And what a huge play by Boniek Garcia going down. Well-timed slide right at the top of the box, and then Horst helped out with a low block of his own.
It was Williams lining up at the end of all that to take that shot.
Yeah, that shot was never going to happen. I mean, he needed to come up with something else on that, a little flick over the top if he could, or cut it to the left.
Jacobson plays it to the far side of the field. Good ball. Belushi looking to make a run toward the end line. And that should be a corner kick, and it is indeed for NYCFC. Some good pressure by New York City FC on the far side of the field, and it results in our first corner kick in the second half. Ball played in, knocked down, hit up in the air by Bruin, cleared out of danger momentarily. There's Wingert with it. Plays it in. And again, Bruin not with a great clearance, just sort of straight up in the air. Mix sends it back out wide.
One player we didn't note as a reserve is Thomas McNamara, the number 15. He's playing the attacking mid and receiving it now.
Good ball into Belushi. A shot off the crossbar. Off the post, I should say.
I'll tell you, McNamara has looked very good in training. I'm not sure where he ranks on the list for the New York City FC coaches, but he's been sharp in training, and already you see his movement off the ball and how it's creating.
Good little back heel by McNamara there in the box. 1-0 Dynamo on top in the 66th minute.
Yeah, Belushi very unlucky there to hit the post. He had Derek beaten, and Dynamo able to recover after the shot.
You know, we see the replay and just some good ball movement on that far side of the field, and so it's eventually played toward the top of the 18, and McNamara with a great back heel and ball play low and just right off that left post. Belushi again plays it out wide. Mix looking in the middle that time for Taylor. Here's a shot and a goal.
I think it went a little wide and hit the back bar and dropped down, which sometimes
that's my fault.
That support on the that will often get the crowd going at this angle. So you're forgiven, Tom.
No, it's my fault. There's some white. There's a white awning right behind us, and sort of lost sight of that one, but it was a nice shot. 67th minute. Some good pressure here by the subs for NYCFC.
Well, the subs who are the starters, or many of them, potentially for March 8th.
Sarkody with a lot of room. And a turnover. Here's Jacobson with it. Plays into the middle. Belushi trying to collect that one from Kaye. And it goes back to the Dynamo, Clark. Well played out wide.
You watch Belushi play, and he's normally scanning the field at all times. On that instance, he did not see the pressure in behind. And that's where the turnover was committed, and then Houston gets that next run up, Tom.
Again, they try and find Bruin on that run.
That's a good ball from Sarkody. It's sort of in that danger zone. Bruin probably not going to score from there, but he might knock it down or force a mistake. Second runner can come onto it, but that's what Sarkody and Bruin are trying to do.
Here's Williams with it. Plays it into the middle. Grabavoy. Kaye. Jacobson is now in the middle of that defensive line. Some better possession here by New York City FC. I see him trying to work that far side of the field as Hernandez plays it out wide. Jacobson. We'll try a little give and go. Houston reads that nicely. More pressure by NYCFC. One time looking in the middle for McNamara. A chance for Houston, but a nice job that time by Hernandez to get back just in the nick of time. Or else that would have been a great opportunity. Would have been Bruin again all alone. He almost had one chance in the first half, but the offside flag came up very late. Mix plays it near side. Wingert will switch it. 1-0 Houston here in the 69th minute. Good ball into the middle. Trying to find Taylor. And that read nicely that time by Horst, who just clears it back into NYCFC territory.
Looks like two preparing to come into the game for the Dynamo. Zach Steinberger, a rookie out of Butler, and Jason Johnson, who will be in his third year this year out of Virginia Commonwealth.
First look at Steinberger, who's I believe the 8th overall pick of this year's draft. Looking player from Butler. Get a chance to see him on the pitch soon. 70th minute, Dynamo on top 1-0. Brad Davis's goal, the difference so far in the 52nd minute. Here come the Dynamo. Good run. The referee says play on. Dynamo still with it. Edge of the 18. Ball played across. Headed on. And a goal. 2-0. Moniak Garcia with the goal. And another good job of swinging the ball in from out wide. And Garcia puts it away and gives Houston a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, not what you expect every day from Boniak. He scored a goal his first season with Houston off a header. He said it was his first ever headed goal. So that might be his second ever headed goal. A good service from Brad. You see his veteran savvy in his 14th season. On his preferred left, cut it to his right, and back onto his left, and then into the mix. And Boniak, the shortest player in that group, beat the bigger boys.
I don't think it was just into the mix. I think he picked him out, and that's a professional service from Brad Davis.
Here come the subs.
And just to note, the New York City FC, along the back line, you see Wingert playing a left center back, which is certainly not his normal area. He's a great leader in the back. Normally he's on the left. We've seen him on the left and Williams on the right. Jeb Brovsky stayed in the game after all the reserves came on. So it's Brovsky, Hernandez, Wingert in the middle, and Williams left. And you don't want to point to the fact that they're not used to that, and perhaps there was some disorganization on the marking.
So 2-0 Houston on top. Both goals here in the second half. Davis and Garcia. We'll see how NYCFC responds. Here they are with possession. Taylor trying to play it out wide. And that had too much pace on. It'll be a throw in for the Dynamo.
a big season for Jason Johnson forthcoming, guys. His third year, he was on loan a lot of last year with Pittsburgh. And a Generation Adidas player who picked in the middle portion of the first round a couple years ago. But I think it's time for him to probably start producing, or he might be going on loan here to Charleston, at which point he'll have to produce. A lot of tools, a lot of athleticism, and a big third year for him.
Jacobson will play it back to Wingert. Send it out wide to Hernandez. Brovsky plays it forward. Lucy trying to make a run, looking for Taylor. Read nicely that time by Jermaine Taylor. 2-0 Dynamo on top. Ball played forward for Tony Taylor again. Horst played all the way back to Derek and just send it toward midfield. We'll see if does NYCFC become a little more aggressive here in the second half, down 2-0, or do they just continue to play their game?
I don't know if you play game tactics in exhibition play. I think you're just trying to get certain players to combine with each other and still learn about a guy like Kaye. This is his first look. We thought that he might be play at the number 10, but after watching him a little bit on film, I do believe he's in the spot out wide where he belongs. So there's still so many things to sort out with such little time that I don't know if you do that, but I'm not sure how Jason Kreis looks at a situation like that. I think you just kind of leave it to the players to understand they're down 2-0 and see what they can do.
Free kick here for New York City FC. It's McNamara over the ball. 5 players setting up along the edge of the 18.
Yeah, interesting call there. Garrido came in maybe with the studs up, but he got the ball. It was a clean tackle.
Here's McNamara to take the kick. Plays it low. It's headed on goal. And no trouble for Derek.
Then the other newcomer, Zach Steinberger, well-traveled, was at the IMG Academy in Florida at 16. Went to Middlesbrough and couldn't get a work permit, so went to Slovakia and Germany. Spent a few years before 4 years at Butler, but one who very much impressed Owen Coyle and the technical staff at the Combine this year and went number 8 overall. I think a lot higher than many people expected, but the Dynamo were excited he was available at number 8.
There's Sarkody with it, playing it forward for Johnson. And got tangled up that time with Williams, but no call. You mentioned, Matt, the relationship, the affiliate relationship now with Charleston in its first year, signed in December, but that, I believe, gives a chance to bring up 4 players back and forth between the clubs, and this is certainly a great facility to have available.
Yeah, a few players will actually play with Charleston tonight against Orlando. Among them, Michael Lish, Memo Rodriguez, Taylor Hunter, and Omar Ballo. So not necessarily the 4 that might start the year, but maybe the 4 Charleston can most use tonight, and a chance to play in front of their head coach, Mike Anhauser. So I think there's a handful of players who could be in the mix as the first 4 to come. There'll probably be some shuffling as the season goes along based off the needs of the Dynamo, but an exciting partnership, absolutely.
Well, you would expect Houston will now return without question each year to Charleston. And there was a picture earlier on, Tom. That's Eric Johansson, who's in the goal, the Norwegian, here in the second half for NYCFC, and off to a tough start, but not much he could do on that service and goal.
It was just a great header by Garcia. Here's Williams with it. 75th minute, 2-0. Houston on top. Both goals here in the second half. Lucy plays it out wide. Good ball. Brovsky far side of the field with some space. Back to Belushi, got taken off the ball and a whistle. So another free kick here. There were 11 fouls in the first half against the Dynamo, and looks like they're going to restart this one quickly. They do. Ball played to the far side of the box, looking for McNamara. Can he keep it in? Back heels it. Does a nice job to keep it in play. Rowski chips it forward and just sent back toward midfield. We really see NYCFC trying to push that ball to the far side of the field diagonally, finding a little bit of room, but not that successful once they get it over there in terms of getting it into the box at this point.
Well, in that instance, McNamara could have elected to head the ball back across the face of the goal and see what Taylor could do with it, but he elected to let it run and see if he could combine sort of closer to the end line. And we should say Grabavoy. I'm trying to look down the roster to see what regulars are sitting out tonight. Grabavoy, it appears, will not play. And as we said earlier, David Villa, nursing a groin injury and a toe injury, not taking any chances. This is certainly, and we know, is not my decision, but I'd leave him out till March 8th if I were the New York City FC staff.
It was good to see Adam Nemec here with the team, not playing tonight, but with the team and participating in drills today. Interesting what he can do up front, big power striker. Sarkodie plays it down the line.
Well, you've got Taylor in that position now for New York City FC. And we remarked the other night, back to the goal, not as effective as facing the goal, and he's in a position here and now receiving the ball.
Headed away by Dynamo defensive line. Kaye plays in the middle for Mix. Mix with some room. Mix takes the shot, and just wide, but not a bad blast from about 35 yards out.
Well, the move he made there is why he's at another level, to free himself to take that drive.
We did not see Mix the other night in the opening game against Orlando City out with an illness, so good to see him out there tonight here in the second half. 78th minute, Houston on top 2-0. Davis and Garcia, your goal scorers. Taylor trying to get there. Beasley, even at his age, is still going to be one of the fastest guys out there. It's remarkable. And Taylor's got a ton of speed.
Yeah, and he uses his body so well. If there's a guy that's maybe a little bit quicker than him or faster, he'll get a hip in or use his body to shield him from the ball. It's fun to watch.
Here's Kaye. Still with it, dancing along the 18. Tries to take the shot, it's blocked. Ball cleared away, Johnson gets around one, gets tangled up, and again just tried to sidestep the defender that time, and a foul committed. You can see Johnson was ready to go, and he did a great job just to get by that initial defender, and almost got by two that time.
Yeah, great play from Johnson. You like that sort of fearlessness, just breaking forward. Good first touch, and then veteran play by Hernandez just to stop the what would have been a promising counterattack.
And on the other end, Taylor, it was good to see him get a strike with the left foot. We saw him score a scorcher in England, in Manchester. So he's showing the ability to do it right or left. But the block also led to this counterattack.
Ball played toward the top of the 18, headed into the box. Wingert looks to play it back and cleared out toward Williams. Williams, who was a sub in the first half for Connor Brandt, who went out with a leg injury. We saw Raul Rodriguez go out for the Dynamo, a similar injury. Hope both players are okay. We haven't gotten official reports on anybody, so can't report the official status of either player, but both had to be substituted for late in the first half. Here's a good ball played forward. NYFC on the attack. Mix trying to make another move, and that time the ball is poked out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in on the far side of the field.
And what you like about some of what's going on the attack is there's Jebrovsky, the fullback on the right side, again getting into the final third, creating things.
McNamara playing it back for Mix. The ball into the box. Discaroo shoots and scores. 2-1.
Another back heel, Tom, from McNamara to set up the goal.
Mix gets NYCFC on the board, and it is a one-goal game here in the 80th minute. Some good combination play. You talked about McNamara, and again, able to set up his teammate in the box.
Let's face it, he could have had an assist on an earlier back heel, and then this time, no doubt about it, from Discarud.
Yeah, really well done. He's been confident since coming into this game. He started that play on that right side. Dynamo dealt with him pretty well, but NYCFC kept the play alive. A second run at it for Dick Saroon, and he made no mistake.
Long ball played ahead for Johnson, who's there. Johnson, two defenders closing. Still with it. Johnson finally dispossessed, but it'll go out of bounds and be a throw-in. Did a good job to hold up play in the corner there. Just couldn't get around that last line of defense.
Johnson positioned himself so well centrally and then timed that run in an onside fashion to create the opportunity.
All out of bounds to the Dynamo. So a 2-1 game here in the 81st minute.
And the back heel for the goal and the one prior from McNamara is, we don't look at that as he's putting on a show. It was deceptive, and it worked. It was the very good recognition on his part in a tight area of the field. So the vision and awareness of Thomas McNamara has led to the first goal for New York City FC.
2-1 game. These two teams got to meet on May 30th at Yankee Stadium. The only regular season meeting scheduled on the book for the 2015 season.
So, Matt, you come in, we'll take you out to dinner, and then when we go to Houston next season, you've got to pay for two. We don't have to pay for one.
There's Kaye with the left foot, well wide, but you can see the power behind that shot.
Well, and he's had a couple of occasions to get it on that left boot, but I don't know if you want to agree to that, Matt. But
It's a deal.
Yes, book
Let's agree to it now. Dinner might be pricier in New York, so
it probably is. It may even out.
We saw Kaye there, had a little space and took that shot. It was well wide, never really threatened goal, but we've seen it, Glenn, a couple times just in training, the power that he possesses with that left foot.
Well, he hit the bar. They were playing 8v8 plus 1 with keepers as he plays that one in with the outside of the left.
A nice job by Horst to just clear it back to Derek. Taylor again looking to make that run.
But he hit a thunderbolt off the bar. That's the first thing we'd ever seen of him. He's been out with a knock since the second day of training.
Ball played down the line. Williams looking to make a run. Williams into the middle. Good ball. Lucy plays it forward to Kaye. Kaye, 25 yards out. Poked off the ball. It's free. And the Dynamo win possession. Garcia that's taken away by Belushi. Chance for NYCFC to counter. Williams making a run. Williams plays it across, leaves it. Taylor gets knocked down, gets it back, and can't quite control it to get off the shot from about the 6-yard mark.
Diskerud wanted to control and shoot in 2 touches. It got away from him, and Taylor was a little bit awkward in receiving it because he didn't think it was going to get past Mix. But another nice build-up. They had an overload here on the near side with Williams overlapping Belushi, and well played for New York City FC.
There's a ball played forward. Mix making a run down that far side of the field, still with it. And the flag is up. So a lot of energy from Mix here in the second half. And this will be a free kick for NYCFC just outside the 18 far side of the field.
Yeah, yellow card shown to Zach Steinberger. Couldn't keep up with Mix Diskerud. A big 6 minutes for the Dynamo. It looked like a comfortable 2-0 lead, but the changes NYCFC has made has really changed the course of this game, and I think an important lead to see out for these final few minutes for this current group on the field for Houston.
85th minute. Houston on top 2-1. 7 players in the box. So awaiting the whistle so we can have this free kick.
And it's Kaye with that left foot. Let's see what he does.
Ball's headed straight up in the air. And Derek able to stay inside the 18 and go over and get it.
But you see the pace of that with the bend. So difficult to deal with.
Yeah, you have to like that leadership there, too, from Derek. And kind of a vulnerable moment for Houston. He goes all the way to the edge of his box, doesn't leave anything to chance on a play that maybe could have been kept alive by New York.
And taking the air out of the game a little bit as well.
Mix plays it out wide. Rowski in the middle. NYCFC switches it. A lot of room for Wingert. Wingert at midfield. Plays it into the middle. Ball played forward for Taylor. Leaving it out wide. Good one touch. McNamara with the shot. Oh, it's off the. Looks like it might have gone just wider. It may have nicked the post on the far side of the field, but some nice combination play again by NYCFC right in the middle.
And it starts with Kaye. Kaye had the ball, took it from right to left. And the thing about Kaye is, again, awareness. He took 2 looks over his shoulder, checked the shoulder twice, saw the target on early, and Tony Taylor doing well with his back to the goal to lay it off.
Another sub here for the Dynamo.
It's Rob Lovejoy coming off for Boniek Garcia. Garcia with that headed goal, which right now is the difference. Lovejoy's been a very nice draft choice by Houston. The club announced that the remaining 3 unsigned draft picks had signed with the club. That came down on Monday, but Lovejoy from Greensboro, North Carolina, had a nice career with UNC, won a national title, and he's been a nice option on the left in his very first preseason game. He scored 13 minutes in against San Jose.
2-1 our score here. Some pressure by NYCFC late as they try and tie this one up, but it is the Dynamo on top right now with a 2-1 lead. Goals from Davis and Garcia. Looks discarried for NYCFC. Long ball played for Taylor. Taken away. Here's Sarkody with it. Sarkody gets it back. Now trying to flip it forward to Johnson. Headed down by Wingert. Dynamo with possession. Long ball played ahead. Stays in. Here's Lovejoy just into the game. Lovejoy working back out. Little give and go. Gets it right back. And the offside flag up once again.
I like that there from Lovejoy, though. Initially, he had a chance to cross, but with the lead, 88th minute, no need to rush it. Kept the play alive. Ball cycled back. He tried to put another player in, but I like just into the game, trying to make a smart decision.
Winger goes up high for that header. It's a free ball. Lucia on the far side of the field wins it, sends it out wide. As New York City FC looks to work the build-up once again. Ball played into the middle. They switch it from right to left. Wingert. Lucia. Mix. Kaye. Here's Williams.
And I think Houston definitely end-of-the-game tactics for them. They want to preserve this victory.
Here's Taylor. Taylor gets taken down. We go the other way. Good play by Steinberger. Was able to knock Taylor off the ball that time and win possession back for the Dynamo.
And part of killing the game, Matt, is what you referred to before. Why put the ball across for an easy save by the keeper to start the counter?
Williams ahead to Taylor with a little bit of room. Taylor holding it up. Trying to play it out wide. No one there for NYCFC.
Another good play by Steinberger, who has won the ball each of the last 2 times for Houston.
Kaye plays it out wide. Kaye working out wide to Brovsky. Gets it back. They switch it. Here's Wingert with some room. In Dynamo territory. Wingert plays it to the near sideline to Williams. Williams on the move. Leaves it. Belushi. And it's out of bounds and a throw in for NYCFC.
The movement off the ball since this group came on at the 60th minute has certainly inspired New York City FC to get the ball deeper and get these opportunities. You just see the passing is crisper, but especially the movement off the ball, spacing, penetrating runs, supporting runs. It's all there for New York City FC over these final 30 minutes.
We have a sub here. Nathan Sturgis going to check into the game, Matt. What can you tell us about Nathan?
Yeah, Sturgis back with the Dynamo. Second run with the club was there in 2012. Performed well in CONCACAF Champions League. One of the veterans in this league.
There's Williams, and cleared back toward midfield.
But very tidy in possession. Former U.S. U17 international, and he very good technically. Can hit a ball all over the fields. A nice piece to have in the team.
2 minutes of stoppage time added. 2 minutes left for NYCFC to try and tie this one up. It's the Dynamo on top 2-1. McNamara tries to chip it forward. He does. Belushi wins it. Belushi plays it out wide. Here's Williams making a run. Sends it into the box. And this will be a corner kick for NYCFC.
And another penetrating run from the fullback, Williams again.
Yeah, Williams very good at that in his days with Columbus, and I'm sure Jason Kreis liked that before they acquired him and carrying it over to NYC.
Belushi takes the corner kick. The ball's down. It's free. A shot somehow blocked, and it will be a nope. So he just went off of a NYCFC player, but that looked like it was right there for the taking, and it'll just be a goal kick after all that.
Brovsky just stood there and looked around for a moment like, how did that not go in?
Golden opportunity here in stoppage time for NYCFC.
Well, I think encouraging for both sides, with Houston being able to put a couple in with beautiful build-up and setup. So that's good for them. And then New York City FC will leave with momentum as well, as they've played quite well over the final half hour. And you look at the little things too, Tom. Taylor, is he a wide player? Is he a central player up top? And today he's done better with his back to the goal. He's been stronger in posting up and creating things too, which was not his strength in the game against Orlando.
There's Lovejoy with it. Lovejoy trying to work some clock, and there is the whistle, and the Houston Dynamo take this game 2-1 and improve to 1-1 in the Cup. Meanwhile, NYCFC falls to 0-1-1 with the 2-1 loss. Like you said, Glenn, good game for both teams, but two beautiful pieces, not set pieces, but runs of play by the Dynamo to create those goals, but better play in the second half by NYCFC when we saw some of the key guys out on the field.
Well, you have to point to that initially, is that those are the regulars, a majority of those guys. So they are the regulars and the proposed starters for March 8th for a reason, and they looked the part. There's still some things to figure out, especially up top. Nemec was unable to play, and he flew in recently from overseas, so Jason Kreis elected to make sure he got the proper rest. I'm sure he'll get a lot of time against the Battery. So some more questions answered. I'm sure the same for the Houston side.
Yeah, Matt,
I thought a lot of positives. Good energy defensively, a lot of help. And I thought the back four looked very solid. Horst came in after Rodriguez's injury. He and Taylor worked well together. Usual shift from Clark and Garrido. And, I told you guys before the game, the Dynamo are at their best when Boniek, Garcia, and Brad Davis are flying, and they're the two goal scorers tonight. So very positive from the Dynamo heading into Saturday against Orlando.
And Glenn, for NYCFC, a guy we haven't talked too much about the last couple of games, but certainly had a big impact, Thomas McNamara. What a game he had here in the second half.
I thought he was impressive, and he's a good player. I mean, he's got a pedigree as well. So I think what we're seeing from the New York City FC side in particular, and we've been with them a little longer and have a little better read on them, Matt, but there are a lot of choices for Jason Kreis to make. There's going to be difficult choices in terms of the roster, but the depth is becoming more and more evident with each training session and each match.
Well, two more games for these teams in this tournament. We'll have to wrap it up for this one as we get set for Charleston and Orlando City. Once again, our final score here, 2-1. The Houston Dynamo win it. For Glenn Crooks and Matt Peterson, I'm Tom Kolker. Thanks for watching our live stream. Have a great night, everyone.